students, Logan Phillips here. All right, let's talk about Microsoft Access Chapter 2. So we learned in Chapter 1 that Access is a relationship management database system, which means it interconnects different pieces of our knowledge so that we can ask our question queries and get some answers that are a little bit more in depth. So that 2D flat system of Excel is now more of a 3D, more bold, viable system in Microsoft Access. So let's go ahead and open up our Chapter 2 guided project. We're opening up into the Simnet environment. Again, I'm on the left-hand side. I'm going to choose Projects, and I'm going to scroll through here and find my Microsoft Access project. So looks like I'm on my PowerPoint class. Let's make sure I choose the correct class here. 2653. Okay. Projects, left side, and we're looking for Access. So we got Chapter 1 guided. Go to pin at 15, 16. Here we go. Chapter 3, Chapter 2, Chapter 2. There we go. Chapter 2 point guided 2-1. So this is Simnet Chapter 2 Access Guided Project 2-1. So again, we're going to have a couple downloads here. We have the instruction file and we have the start file. Remember that the instruction file only comes inside a PC environment because Microsoft Access does not exist inside an Apple. So if you're using a Macintosh, unfortunately, you're going to have to find another computer system that is a PC, Windows-based. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to complete these assignments. So let's go ahead and jump up and install or download the instruction file and open that up. I'm going to show it in my folder here. Let's open that up. And inside this lesson, we're going to have a few skills we're going to cover. We're going to look at creating a table and using a design view, so making it look a little bit nicer. We're going to add some fields into the table. We're going to edit the properties in the design view. We're going to define an input mask. We're going to use a lookup wizard to create a drop-down list. We're going to save tables, which we did in Chapter 1. We're going to enter records. Again, we've done that in Chapter 1. We're going to verify the existence of foreign keys here. So we have the primary keys we worked with in Chapter 1. We're going to be working with foreign keys in Chapter 2. We're also going to start looking at those relationships, the whole basis of why we'd use Excel or Access instead of Excel. The relationship between tables, and we're going to enforce some referential integrity between those. So I know all these things seem strange, and I'm thinking, oh, what the heck is referential integrity? But I promise you it'll make perfect sense once we get in there and I show you what I'm talking about. We're also going to view a table in datasheet view and expand some related records, and we're going to preview a table and results for some printing. So, of course, when you're asking questions of all your data, you want to be able to hand that to people. So I'm going to show you how to ask really advanced questions, hook up some references, do some referential integrity so that everything works appropriately, and then how to get a printout that you can hand to bosses, subordinates, investors, anyone you need so that you get the information that you need. All right, so let's move that instruction file to the right-hand side, and let's go ahead and download the start file. And we're going to just open that show in folder. Now remember that out of all of the Microsoft suite, Access is the one that's most prone to having viruses and that kind of stuff. So don't ever download a database from an unknown, untrusted source. So let's go ahead and open up our database. Now remember that I am working in a dual screen system. If you're doing the same, you can have your instructions on one side and your database on the other. I would strongly suggest printing off the instructions. It makes it much easier for people to work if you're not switching back and forth between screens. This is true for all the projects for every single class. Print them off, keep them to the side. It will help you. So first step is always to enable content. Now remember that once we've enabled this content, I'm going to save it to my desktop. So right now this database is setting in my downloads. And so if you're looking at your file, you have on the Windows 10 Explorer, you have up here your quick access, desktop, downloads, documents. Almost everything you ever get is going to be inside your downloads file. Now I hate working from my downloads file because it can get extremely large. And I don't want to have something that's lost in here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the File, Backstage View, and I'm going to choose to Save As, and I'm going to put this database on my desktop where I can easily access it, I can easily delete it when I'm done with it, and so we're going to go ahead and put that right there. And once we've moved it, it's a new database, so we must choose once again to enable content. Now I know that step is inside the instruction file. This is something I do to help with my management of documents, the file management systems. So moving it from my downloads to my desktop, I could have dragged it over to my desktop, but I just like to keep it in 2 locations, and I eventually delete them from both, but if something happens while I'm working on, I always have the backup in a separate location. And for access, it's always good to have a little bit of backup. All right, so we have this database, and you can see here there's only a single table. Now, we didn't have any resources that we had to download, but let's double check. So it looks like we had a start file, but we did not have any resource files. We're not going to be importing from anything else. And now if we open up this employees table, we can see the information in it. Now you should be able to right click it and hit open. And we can see we have an employee ID, which is our primary key. Remember, employee ID, primary keys are always unique identifiers. They do not duplicate between any of the records. So Bob and Majid will not have the same employee ID. Nobody will have the same employee ID as Bob. There might be 4 Bob Lingles, but every Bob Lingle will have their own unique identifier or primary key. So we got employee ID, first name, last name, branch, their title, their department, their start date, their base monthly salary, and we can add some more information in here. And we also have it separated so that we have every other line highlighted, so it makes the records a little bit easier to see. And we went over how to do all of that in the chapter 1, but in case you forgot about how to highlight these, it's always on Home tab in text formatting, and we have an alternate row color. That's what gives it this nice little line right here. So we're on the instruction files. I am reading from my other screen. So let's look at them. We've opened it up. We've done step 1. We've saved it to our desktop. We've double checked our name. We can see that Logan.Phillips, my name is up in the top center. Your name should be up in the top center. If it's not, delete it, re-download it. That way it makes sure that it is your correct name and it's digitally signed. Now we'll give a forewarning online. And I know you guys would never do this, but there does exist these assignments that someone else has done. If you download those assignments from online and you turn them in, the computer system, Simnet, will allow you to turn them in. I have that turned on. But it's going to alert me that you have stolen someone else's data and you've turned in someone else's assignment. And unbeknownst to you, as soon as it alerts me, I will convert all of those grades to a 0, and then I will contact you. So if you download something from online, that is still digitally signed to those people online. If you try to use their work and turn it in, Simnet will know, I will know, you'll get 0s, and you can risk getting kicked out of the class, getting an F in the class, even getting kicked out of college. It's not worth it. You're paying for this class to learn the material. Learn the material. It's not going to be hard work. It doesn't take a whole long time. You know, any of these lessons take me about 40 minutes to do, and that's with talking and instructing you. So if you follow along and do them yourself, you're talking 10, 20 minutes at most on any given lesson. So we've done step 1 and 2. We've changed the project name. We've saved it in a new location. We've done step 3. We've hit that yellow button and enabled the content because we are a trusted source. Hopefully I am a trusted source. You believe in your instructor and believe that I wouldn't do anything evil to you. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the table design button, which is to create the tables in a tables group. And then we're going to open a new table in design view. So I've opened up this employee tab. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to create click on the table design view, which is on your create tab and my tables. And you can see here. And we're going to go in and we're going to click on the table design. So we've created a brand new table here. This is table 1. And we're going to type in the name branch in the first field. So we have, let's just double check everything real quick. So inside Access, we have a little bit of a different thing going on here. We have 2 different views. So right now, we are inside on the Home tab. And you can see here, we're in Data Sheet view. This is where we're actually looking at our data, and we can manipulate the data itself, names, numbers, phone numbers, and those type of items. But sometimes we want to go in and just work on how things look and how things are arranged. So we can actually switch our table to the design view. Now you may have gotten a little pop-up that said save as, blah, blah, blah. Just save it as table 1 for right now and leave it at that. Now from here we have a few different information pieces that we're going to fill in. So on the first one, it's going to be branch instead of ID, and our data type is going to be short text. Let's see, let's find short text, there we go. Now you can see here this has a lot more advanced features. If you remember in lesson 1, we set the field size number, we set the short text numbers, numerals, and we gave it a name. And we did that all from the datasheet view. So this gives us the ability to do it from a design view and do it a little bit faster. Okay, and we're going to go into the description. You could hit your tab key or use your mouse. And here we're going to type in the unique branch name. So every branch is the unique identifier for this. So the primary key of this particular table is the unique branch ID. All right, so we're going to go here and we're going to click on the primary key button and we're going to press the tab to move to the next pieces. So let's go here and click on the branch and we're going to set this as the primary key if it hasn't already been set. So you can see here the primary key has been set to branch. And you can see that by the little icon key inside the little left-hand side of the record. Sorry, left hand, left hand, left hand. So we clicked on primary key if it wasn't selected, and then you're going to have a little key in the far left column of your field. Now let's go ahead and put the rest of this information in and get it set. So after branch, we have address. Remember to put everything in exactly like it tells or shows. Now I'm using my tab key and my enter button. Enter brings me to the next record down. Tab key moves me from left to right. That's short text. Branch city. No uppercase on city. Enter. Alright, so on date open, instead of doing a short text, we are going to choose date and time because we want to be able to do calculations with date and time here. And we're going to put this in as date. Okay. So let's go ahead and save, and we're going to save this table as branches. So let's go ahead and hit save. And we're going to, since I had already saved it as table 1, I'm going to right click this and do file, save as. Alright, so I'm a right click on the name of the table 1 in my navigation screen on the left hand side. I'm going to choose to rename this. Yep. So we got to close it before I can rename it. So I'm going to save it, I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to rename it. And this is going to be branches. Now, if you get that pop up at the very beginning, you can label it branches right then, but it didn't come up until step M, so I made a little bit of an out of order there. So we have 2 tables now, branches and employees. And let's go here. We are now on step M, 5M. So we've saved it. And we're going to click on the row selector to select the branch field. So let's open up branches one more time. Right click and open. I'm going to go for my views. I'm going to choose my design view. And we're going to choose the field or the record branch. And we're going to come down to the row selector field by clicking on the left hand side and the little gray box so it selects the entire record. Now I'm going to come down here to field size, and I'm going to change it from 255 characters to 30. And we're going to set the required property to yes. So let's find out if it's required. Yes, this is required. You must put it in. And then we're going to select the next fields, and we're going to use the tables from 5R, and we're going to choose the following different properties from the sheet. So I am on step 5R. I'm going to click through these. To choose the record, click on the gray piece, set the unique field properties. So address is 40, Yes, it's required. You can see it's non-required right now, so we're going to change that to yes. On city, it can be 20. Yes, it's required. State is going to be a 2-digit state, and it is going to be a required field. So what a required field does is it makes the people have to put in information. Like, they don't get a choice otherwise. It must be filled out. We're going to go here to zip. And I think I clicked on something wrong here. Allow 0 length was set to yes. Okay. So let's go to zip, and our zip is going to be a length of 9. So 9-digit zip. We're going to choose required. We're going to set it as yes. Now, it's very easy to click on the wrong piece down here. So it should be yes, yes, no. In case you've highlighted the wrong thing, make sure required yes, allow 0 length yes, and indexed no. Let's go to phone. And phone is going to be a 10-digit length. It is required. And so let's click on that. And then we're going to choose the date opened. And date opened is going to be a format of medium date. So you can see by choosing the date format, we actually get to choose a little bit more specifically exactly how we want the information to appear. So because we chose date, we want to choose a medium date, so 2-digit, 3-letter month, and 2-digit year. And then it's going to be a yes required. Okay. So let's go ahead and save this table. You can hit Control S. I would also suggest hitting the button just to be safe. And we are now on to step 6. So right now you have been working inside the design view, setting all your information up so you can actually input all of your data. If you do this step before you do your data on your own personal tables, it makes entering data a whole lot easier. And doing it in design view is a whole lot nicer than clicking at this top, opening it up, choosing the fields, and going through a bunch of submenus. So design view is for making things look how you want them to do. Data sheet view is for actually entering in information, the actual data itself, names, addresses, phone numbers, and such. So on step 6, we're going to start to create an input mask for the zip field. So we're going to go back to that data sheet view, or the design view, I'm sorry. We're going to click on the zip field, and we're going to click on the property box for the input mask property. Now you can find that by clicking on the gray on the left-hand side, highlighting your zip field, and then coming down to the bottom to the general area or general information. And you can see here we have an input mask. It's about the third one down, and this is where you can actually identify exactly how you want them to put in information. So we're going to click on the input mask, and we're going to click on the next button. Now you can see here that I clicked on the input mask field, I hit the 3 little dots on the right hand side, and it brought up an input mask wizard. So from here, this is a zip code, so let's choose our zip code and hit next. And then we're going to choose no modifications. We want it 5-digit dash 4-digit, and so we're going to hit next. We're going to choose without symbols in the mask and hit next, and we're going to hit finish. So what this has done is set it up so when I'm in here in my design view, let's go ahead and save it. If I try to enter a zip code here, you can now see that they have to not only enter it because it's required, but it also has to be exactly, or it looks exactly like I choose to enter, or I have chosen for them to enter it. 5 digits dash 4 digits. So all that does is restrict on how people are actually inputting information into it. So let's go back to our design view. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this record. Okay, let's go back into our design view. All right, so next we're going to create a new input mask. And now remember that input mask is just restricting how the data is formatted to make it the easiest to be read. So if you're doing things like addresses, zip codes, phone numbers, those type of things, we really want it to look very specifically. And you want it to look uniformly across the entire sheets. So we're going to click on the phone field next. Again, left-hand side, little silver box, selects everything. We're going to come down to our input mask, and I'm going to left click on the three little dots, and I have an input mask wizard now. And so we're going to choose phone number, and phone number selected. We're going to hit next. We're going to not make any changes to it, and hit next. And we are going to without symbols, so next, and finish. So you can see now that they're going to have to put in your area code, 3 digits, 4 digits, and it's going to show up for us as parentheses, 3 digits, dash, 4 digits. And we're going to click on saving this table. So let's go ahead and hit save. We've gone on to step 8 now, and we're going to actually start entering records into the branches table. So we're going to switch from the design view over to our data sheet view. And so let's go ahead and put in the information that's in the table. I'm going to pause the video. You should know how to enter information into these cells. Remember to use your tab keys and your arrow keys to move around. And so let's go ahead and pause for a second. Now on this final record, I want to show you exactly what's happening with the zip code. Notice that I'm not going to hit my dash key at all. I'm just going to enter the numbers, and it's going to reformat them. So if I enter the numbers of 957469007, so let's try it again. 957469007. 957469007. It enters the dash for me. And when I hit my tab to enter my phone number, same thing. 916-791-8787. I didn't have to put in my parentheses. I didn't have to hit any dashes. It formatted it correctly. Now the date can be a little finicky. So I'm going to hit or do my dates with my slashes of 1/1/2016. But when I hit enter to go to my next record or my tab, it will actually reformat it to the correct style that I've chosen. So you do have to put it in as a date, exactly like you're seeing, but it will reformat that date. If I would have just hit in 1/1/2016, it would have came up with an error. So if I would have hit 1/1/2016 with no slashes, it would have came up with this particular error. So we have to put in 1/1/2016, and now we have it correct. All right, so we've done step 8. We're going to save, and we're going to close this table down. We are on to step 9, and in this step, we're going to modify the department fields in the employees table to use a combo box. So let's go ahead and open up that employees table. Remember, click on the employees table, right click, and choose to open. And now I could have opened it up. Right now I'm in data sheet view. I could have chosen to right click, open into design view. So either way will open it directly to how you want, either data sheet or design view. But if you open it in the incorrect one, I can always come up on my home tab in my views and just switch between the two views. So there's always multiple ways to accomplish everything. So let's click on that department group, department field or department record, whatever you want to say it as. And we're going to click on the property box for the data type property. So let's come down here and find the data type property box. Sorry. And we can see it's a short text. And we're going to click on it, and we're going to choose to go from short text to a lookup wizard. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to have a drop-down menu. So instead of typing in administration, health and benefits, insurance sales, property and casualty, I want whoever's using my data sheets, my database, to be able to just say, he's in one of these 4, and I'm going to give him 4 choices. So I'm going to give a drop-down menu on my design view inside my data sheet view as well. So we're going to click on the department field. We're going to do the data sheet. Instead of short text, we're going to choose the lookup wizard, and I'm going to select in, I will type in the values I want, because I'm going to type in some unique ones, and I'm going to hit next. And in the first cell in column 1, I'm going to type in administrator. Administration, I'm sorry. I'm going to hit my down arrow, and I'm going to type in health and benefits. Down arrow, insurance sales. Down arrow, property and casualty. Make sure I spelled everything correctly. I can see I made a mistake. It's a little hard for me to type because I literally have a microphone setting on top of my keyboard, and it gets in the way of me moving my hands around. So that's why I tend to pause when I'm doing big data entries. So we're going to hit on the next button, and you can see here in the click list, we're going to click the limit to list checkbox. So we don't want anything outside the limit. I don't want them typing in any information that they've come up with. You know, if I ask you what department you are and I've given you 4 departments, I don't want some guy going, well, I'm sort of both, so I'm going to type in both. Or I'm not in any of those departments. I'm in the Department of Logan. So I'm going to limit it so they can only choose the departments that I have put in. And we're going to hit on the next or the finish. So now we have a short text, but it's also limited to only the pieces and the drop downs. So, so our next step is we're going to actually start working with creating those relationships. So again, these are dynamic. You can ask multiple questions. We can cross-reference different tables, which you can't do inside Microsoft Excel. But to do that, we have to have matching keys. So every table has a primary key. You can see here we have an employee ID as the primary key. Let's go ahead and open up branches in design view, and you can see that branch is the primary key here. And now I have both of my tables opened up, and both of them have a primary key. But there's also a thing called a foreign key. And so we're going to make sure that there is a field here that matches both the tables. And this is called the foreign key. Okay, so we need to make sure that the branch field is common across both tables. So we have here, we have a branch field. It's a short text. It has a field size of 30. It is not required on this table. And here we have a branch. We have a short text. It's a field size of 30, and it is required. So we want to make sure that those are identical between the two, because this branch is the field name that's going to be foreign to each one, but is what connects our two tables together. So let's go ahead and go to the employees table, and we're going to click on the branch, and we're going to choose to change this description. And instead of branch assigned to, it's going to be branch assigned to dash must match a branch in the branches table. So this tells anyone that's using our data sheet that this is our foreign key between the two pieces. The branch names inside the employees table must match the branch field inside the branches table. So each branch might have multiple employees, and one employee is assigned to any given branch. So you can start to see how those relationships are set up. So let's go ahead and save these and close both of these tables. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit close, and I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit close. So we got both of the tables have a unique identifier and a foreign key that matches up. So the next thing we're going to do is on step 10D, we're going to click on the relationship button. Now you can find the relationship button. Let's see. Inside the database tools in the relationships group, we're going to click on that relationships button. Now what this does is it asks you what things do you want to open up here? Where are we going to connect relationships to? How are we going to connect this data to each other? And we're going to choose to open up both, I think. Yep. So let's open up branches, and let's click on employees and hit open that as well. And then we're going to close this show table dialog. Now I'm going to move these around. You don't have to, but I'm going to open them up a little bit bigger so that we can see exactly what we're working with. So we have these two tables, and you can see here these are all the field names. Employee ID has a key, so it's primary. Branch, it has key, it's a primary. And then we have all this other information that we have inside each of these individual fields. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a connection between any fields that look the same. So we know that branches and branches are identical. So we're going to drag the branch field from the branches table, And we're going to click and left hold the mouse, and we're going to drag it over to the employees table down to the word branch. And now what this is going to do is this is going to create a relationship, and we're going to work with a one-to-many relationship. So we have every branch has many employees. So branches to branches, and we're going to also enforce referential integrity. So this enforced referential integrity just means if I update information on one table, it will force the update of information on previous tables or other tables. So here in the branch, if I change the name of the branch from Hewlett-Packard to Hewlett-Packard Company, in my employees table, employee Bob will no longer be employed with Hewlett-Packard. He is now employed with Hewlett-Packard Company. So I only have to change it in one location, and it changes to anywhere this relationship is connected. Okay, let's see. Next, we're going to also cascade, update, and related fields. And we're going to leave off the cascade delete, and we're going to go ahead and click on the create. Okay, so we click on the branch and we drag it to the other branch, open it up, enforce referential, cascade relationships, and hit create. Now what you're seeing here now is a one-to-many relationship, which means there's going to be one branch for many employees. That means, the Folsom Prison may have 34, security guards here, and this is the security guards information. So we've created what's called a one-to-many relationship inside our relational database management systems. So we're going to go ahead and click on the close button, and let's see, click close on this, close down our relationships. Yes, we want to save the changes here. And we are now on to step 11. So on step 11, we're going to enter the following records into the employees table to test the new drop-down list. So let's open up the employees table by right-clicking and clicking open. So we are in the data sheet view. Our employee ID is going to be 200. Timothy, Hanson, Cameron Park. His title is insurance agent. And you can see his drop-down benefits. His department is health and benefits. And his start date was 9/15/2016 with a base salary of $3,900. So you can see the drop-down menu worked pretty well, and we can always come up here and change things as we need on any different person. So all we got to do in step 12 is save this table and close it down. And we're now on to step 13. We're going to open up the branches table in the data sheet view. So let's go to branches, right click, and we're going to go into open into data sheet view. Now we're going to adjust the width of the fields so that the entire content here shows for some of these. You can see it's cutting off on the address. Things don't look quite right here. So we're going to go on the plus symbol on the left of branch field. So let's find branch field. We find our plus symbol. Click on branch field, get it here. Now, a quick, easy way to make these things correctly spaced is if you get your resize handles to show, you have to select the column, get your resize handles to show, and then double click. That will allow everything to jump to an auto fit so that everything looks nice and clear. There we go. Now, on step 13, we're also going to show the plus symbol on the left-hand side of the branch field. So you can see here that the things like Cameron Park, you can quickly see the data. Cameron Park has these employees. Folsom Prison has these employees. Granite Bay has these employees. So we're able to do this because we created that relationship of the one-to-many. All right, let's go to step 14. We're going to preview the data records in the branches table before we print this out. We're going to click on the print button, which is in the File tab. So let's go to our Backstage view. File, Backstage. We're going to click on the print button, and we're going to do a print preview. You can see here, we're going to modify this a little bit. We're going to click on the Landscape button, So print preview tab, page layout, choose a landscape. And we should see something like branch, address, city, state, zip, phone, and date opened. All right, let's go ahead and close this print preview. That's the print preview tab, right hand side, close print preview. All we gotta do now is save the branches table, save it, close it down, save and close the database. So let's just do a file save as. Let's make sure we save it to the right place. Again, I'm working on my desktop. And close it down. Top right corner. So at this point we have modified and changed our entire database and we are ready to go. We've done things like modifying the input, we've resized different areas, we've modified how the data will look and how people will work with it, and so we've created relationships between the two fields so that we can actually start seeing a little bit more surprising and more specific information from our data. So again, if the professor has done it right, let's go ahead and open up our file. And this is a database in Sierra something, Central Sierra. And let's upload it, see what my grade is, and then fix any issues that I got wrong. It's taking a minute. Fingers crossed. Ooh, 91%. Let's see what I got partial. Oh, I forgot to put in some descriptors. That was sort of stupid of me. So, I didn't put in my descriptors on one grouping there, and that is what is causing me to get my lost points. And it looks like when I chose yes on a required field name, it actually didn't choose yes. So that is sort of stupid fixes, sort of my own errors. I forgot to put in the descriptors and I forgot to hit yes. But that's an easy fix. Come over here, we open up our database again. If I can find it. And you can see here, I think we created the branches table. Let's go into design view. And I messed up here of putting in information. I should have hit my tab buttons, moved around, saved often, and done those type of items. So it looks like I made a mistake there, and I made a mistake. Yep, dadgummit. So double check your descriptors and stuff between the two pieces. I should have come back in here and typed in the must identify and all that kind of information. So at least gives you a 91%. You see my error was where I made the incorrect descriptors. I didn't put them in exactly as I was supposed to do. Easy fix. Go ahead and fix it yourself. If you need any questions, comments, concerns, I at least got you a 91%. Anything else, I will gladly help you with.